All right, welcome to this explainer. Look, if your agency relies on scaling delivery through white label partnerships, you already know it's a model that can work absolutely beautifully. But, well, here's the catch. Every model that works eventually attracts complexity. So today, we're uncovering the hidden friction points that are rapidly and kind of quietly transforming white label WordPress development as we head into 2026. Think of modern development challenges like a massive iceberg. They surface really slowly. Maybe it's a few vague client complaints, a slight erosion of your margins, or just a random delivery delay. By the time the root cause is actually obvious, boom, you've already hit it. Finding a reliable partner who truly gets this landscape is exactly how you steer clear of the ice before the damage is done. To make sense of all this, we're going to break this explainer down into 6 key themes. We've got the 2026 shift, navigating tech and threats, mastering compliance and brand, meeting client expectations, surviving the talent market, and finally, proactive strategies. Let's get right into it. Section 1, the 2026 white label shift. Let's look at why a model that has historically worked so well is suddenly getting so incredibly complex. Beneath the surface, a shifting technical landscape and tightening regulations are creating what I call silent delivery issues: margin erosion, delivery delays, retention problems. These are friction points that honestly just didn't exist, or at least weren't nearly as significant even 2 years ago. To protect the incredible value of your white label model, we have to shine a light on this invisible friction that's quietly pulling down your efficiency. Moving right along to Section 2, navigating tech and threats. This is all about the massive technological shifts and security threats that are entirely redefining the baseline for development partners today. Just look at how incredibly fast WordPress itself is evolving right now. I mean, we've moved from the maturation of the block editor straight into full-site editing, taking over as the mainstream framework. And all this is happening while the complex multi-plugin ecosystem updates at a dizzying pace. Staying current with the core roadmap, that's now a non-negotiable standard. If your partner is behind the curve, your sites are going to feel dated the literal minute they launch. Now, to keep up with that rapid evolution, developers are obviously turning to automation. Actually, a massive 62% of developers now use AI coding assistants regularly. That's huge. But the challenge for 2026 isn't whether or not to use AI, it's how you govern it. Unmonitored AI-generated code introduces security flaws and performance inefficiencies that a human would easily catch. So to harness that AI efficiency safely, your partners have got to follow 3 strict governance steps: establish clear usage policies, mandate strict human oversight, and execute rigorous quality validation. This is the exact kind of high-level quality control that top-tier white label partners like Viral Chili have already baked into their 2026 workflows. And speaking of threats, let's look at a pretty alarming figure: 43%. 43% of cyber attacks now specifically target small and medium-sized businesses. The threat landscape in 2026 is just far more aggressive. With automated vulnerability scanning, credential stuffing, and AI-assisted attack tools, your clients are actively being targeted. They're not just incidentally affected anymore. Because of that highly sophisticated environment, security simply cannot be a one-time thought at launch. It requires ongoing, non-negotiable habits. You absolutely need partners who systematically lock down security during the build phase, relentlessly vet every third-party plugin stack, and provide ongoing proactive monitoring to catch threats before they turn into full-blown client disasters. All right, shifting gears to Section 3, mastering compliance and brand. The regulatory environment and the need for brand consistency are dramatically raising the stakes. The regulatory landscape around digital accessibility is aggressively shifting right now. Think about the European Accessibility Act implementations, expanding ADA case law in the US, and growing global enforcement overall. Digital accessibility is no longer a nice-to-have. Your clients face genuine, serious legal exposure if their websites aren't built for everyone. Because of this, you need partners who treat accessibility as a rigorous technical discipline. We're talking true compliance here, the active technical implementation of WCAG standards, and staying completely up to date with regulatory knowledge. Treating this as a simple checkbox exercise, that actively creates massive liability for your agency. And beyond legal compliance, there's brand integrity. As your client roster scales, pushing different visual identities through the dev pipeline gets highly complex. It requires strict briefing, detailed brand docs, and rigorous quality review across that expanding portfolio. You have to catch a mismatched font or the wrong color hex code before it reaches the client. One careless mistake can instantly damage a relationship you've spent years building. Moving into Section 4, Meeting Rising Client Expectations. Let's take a look at the modern buyer because their baseline knowledge has dramatically increased. The 2026 client is highly informed. They arrive knowing about core web vitals, they understand accessibility basics, and get this, they're using free audit tools on their site before they even sit down for that first meeting with you. You can no longer just hand over a functional site. Clients today demand hard, technical evidence. This is exactly why translating your work is absolutely crucial. Telling a client you applied security hardening and performance optimization kind of means nothing to them. But showing a report saying the site passed vulnerability scan with 0 critical findings and improved load time to boost conversions, that proves your value. You need partners who arm you with this exact type of reporting data so you can secure those vital retainers. Next up is Section 5, Retaining Top-Tier Talent. We really have to talk about the reality of the highly competitive market for specialized WordPress developers right now. The talent squeeze is real, thanks to the rising complexity of enterprise builds and the explosive growth of headless, decoupled architectures. Genuinely capable specialists are incredibly highly sought after. The best white-label talent out there, they have abundant options, which makes them much, much harder to keep tied to your agency. To retain that top talent, you've got to shift your mindset. You can't treat development partners like an interchangeable transactional vendor anymore. You have to be a strategic collaborator, sharing context, goals, and providing timely feedback. When capacity gets tight, elite teams like Viral Chili prioritize the agencies that make them feel like an actual, integrated part of the mission. Finally, Section 6, Proactive Strategies for 2026. Let's pull all of this together and look at the playbook for navigating this new landscape. The wonderful news here is that the white label model itself isn't broken. It still works beautifully, provided you adopt proactive strategies. You have to identify technical and compliance challenges early. You need to build rock-solid internal processes to prevent client-facing issues. And critically, you must deliberately select partners, like the experts at Viral Chili, who are specifically equipped to handle the unique threats of 2026. So I'll leave you with this provocative question to chew on. Is your agency simply reacting to this shifting landscape, or are you actively anticipating it? Because those who anticipate these 2026 challenges will absolutely turn proactive management into their ultimate competitive advantage. Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Now go out there, find the right partners, and let's build something extraordinary.